Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I built this abyssalite melter here, and the support for that was quite overwhelming. I don't think I showed my appreciation enough, so thank you all for that. But the plans for this episode, quite ambitious. I want to remove the entire magma biome so that I can use this space for a water tank. The current water tank is a little difficult to work with just because I have so many different water sources and water requesters. Getting all the piping to fit neatly together doesn't work too well. If I just had one giant water tank at the bottom, it'd be super easy to route all the piping because I have so much space to work with. So there's a couple of things that needs to happen in order for the magma to be processed. First, I need a destination for it. That'll be stone hatches. They can eat igneous rock. I'm going to need a way to get it up to the top, where it can be cooled using the regolith melter system. And then I'll need a final cooling system so that the igneous rock doesn't overheat the hatch range. So if we go to Professor Oakshell's calculator here, just to check how many hatches I need, I want to calibrate this to about 20 kilos a second of igneous rock here. I'm going to increase the number of hatches until that says about 20, because I know I can get a constant 20 kilos a second from the incoming regolith. Next to be about 86 critters, and if I enable the critter condo, then I can fit 9 critters per ranch instead. That brings the number of ranches down to 10. And if I go... Actually, let's go all the way to 90. That way each ranch is fully populated. So I gotta fit 10 ranches in somewhere. And I think the best spot to keep the base pretty symmetrical... I've got some space here. And I've got some space over on this side. If I do 2 ranches per floor, then I'd only need 5 floors. So if I use this space as like a utility floor, then ranch 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10... That puts me right up against this geyser here, and there's still space for duplicants to get across. That does mean this is probably going to have to go. So let's demolish this biome. While my duplicants are getting that cleared out, I'm going to come back over to the printing pod and enable that. Because, like I said in the last episode, I want to take on more duplicants to fully populate these 2 new housing units. Right. And someone pointed out in the comments, thank you for this, that I needed to actually enable the Aquatic Planet DLC in this menu here. Then I could print Kai. I thought that because the water textures changed that I had already enabled it, but it actually has to be manually enabled on older saves. So Kai, it's right there you are, beautiful. And I've also redone the spreadsheet a tiny bit to accommodate duplicates of the, well, duplicants. Now there's no picture for Kai yet on the wiki, so that's just going to be blank. And if I look at my task distribution, you can see I've got a lot of duplicants in the general tab. We've got 13 of them. Got 1 in decorating, that's Liam. 1 in researching, that's Rowan. 1 in doctoring, that's Pei. I've got my 4 pilots. 4 supplying, 4 ranching, 4 farming. 4 cooking. I probably don't need more cooks. Mining will become an irrelevant task eventually, once I get everything cleared out. But I think because I'm going to be taking on a lot of stone hatches in this episode, it might be a good idea to maybe get a few more ranchers. So Kai, I think you will be a rancher for me. Let's stick you in housing unit 2. And then, let's see, which schedule has the most space on it right now? Looks like the morning schedule with 14. So Kai will be the morning schedule. So back in the game here, we've got to tweak Kai's interests. We'll do farming, ranching, and suit wearing. Already got bottomless stomach and mouth breather. Just need to add biohazardous. Everyone's getting twinkle toes. And buff. You'll need to be an animal lover and have a green thumb. There we go. So we'll print Kai there. And I'm going to manually assign this bed here. I want all of the morning shift workers on the top row, the evening shift workers, the middle row, and then the overnight workers on this row. Well, welcome to the base, Kai. Let's make sure you get in a suit immediately. And there's actually one more thing the DLC brings. It's this new swimming trait here. So I'm just going to give that to everyone. Got plenty of morale to spare. I could actually just skill everyone into everything, and they would still be happy. This is all but cleared out now. So I want to start working on prototyping the ranch so I know how much space I have left. I'm thinking something really similar to the Slickster Ranch design here. Got all of the utility stuff down at the bottom, and then all of the ranches above that, with space for the critter condo. So there'll be a wall right here. And this is the floor. Ceiling. And then I'm pretty sure this is like 57 tiles wide. Yeah, 57. 57 is right here. There we go. That's going to be the wall there. So that means all of this space here is all I have left for the final cooling system. So I'm thinking something maybe 6 steam turbines wide. It's easier to work with an even number of steam turbines, because I can keep things symmetrical. I'm going to get into this biome a tiny bit here, because the outer walls be right there. So this needs to go away. I want to finish the cooler first, so that I can start processing this rock, and then also turn on the... all the way down here. Gotta figure out how to pump out this magma. But I'm thinking I'll just use some pitcher pumps, and just slowly keep working them down. Because then I can have duplicates drop off that bottled magma in some drainers, and then just send it up with a pipe all the way up the side of the map, right into this spot here. That looks to be another printable. Now, I don't have any hatches right now, so I am going to print some hatch eggs. 3 of those, because not only do I need these to hatch, I need to then get them converted over to stone hatches. So for the cooling system here, I want it to be pretty similar to this, where it has this counterflow on the bottom. But I will need a section to do some final cooling at the very end, because the coldest this counterflow could get the igneous down to is 95. But I can't feed 95-degree rock to hatches. Stone hatches like to be somewhere between 10 and 40. But in here, this will be the steam room. I'm going to need one aqua tuner here in the center. This is why I did 6 steam turbines to keep it symmetrical. I'll put an aqua tuner here and an aqua tuner here. This center one will be responsible for cooling off all of the turbines. Then these aqua tuners, these are going to be what provide the final cooling to the igneous. So down here, I'm going to have like a little holding chamber where all of the igneous can buffer up and just sit for either use by the duplicants or to be sent to the hatches. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to have like a little pool of mercury. Mercury is fantastic for this. If we take a look at its properties, it has a thermal conductivity of 8.3. And it's a liquid at the temperatures that I'm going to be dealing with for the igneous. And liquids have a conductivity multiplier. So it's going to be super easy to get the heat out of the igneous rock once it's down here in the mercury. So I'll sketch out the counterflow. I'm going to have metal every other block. And about there is probably fine. That leaves some space for duplicants to get in here. Then the water from the exhaust from the steam turbines needs to go up through. That can handle, well, just 1 steam turbine's worth. And I've got 6 steam turbines, so I'm going to need 12 vents. So 5 more over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then on all of the metal tile heights, I'm going to use some radiant piping. And then alternate radiant insulated, radiant insulated. Then I can connect all of that up with some insulated piping, just like that. And that'll fill in the gaps. And then that tells me where I can put the valves, because I need to limit the flow on all of this piping so that the water doesn't burst in the pipes. So this counterflow will passively get the igneous rock down to 95. That's the important part. It's up passive, doesn't cost me any power. Then, to get it colder than 95, that's where I'm spending power on the aqua tuners. So it's the same idea with this counterflow over here. I'm getting the igneous rock, or well, it's magma, then it turns into igneous rock. It's sent through this conveyor rail system here to cool down to, if we find a piece here, there's one, igneous rock at 95.3. It didn't cost me any power to get it down to that temperature. So if I sent it just through the steam, theoretically the coldest I could get it is 125. And then the rest I would have to do with an aqua tuner, which costs power. So I'm also going to have to zigzag some railing through here. So the hot igneous rock will come in, go through the steam room, and then zigzag through the counterflow before finally getting dropped off here in the center. Then the final cooling, that's just going to be done with some radiant piping here. I like to put in shift plates to keep temperature stable and smear temperature. Then, just to make things look pretty, I'll border that with some drywall. These turbines up here will be cooled with some conduction panels. And I'll need to sample the temperature of each one of these loops to tell the aqua tuners when to turn on and off. And then, as far as powering them is concerned, I think I'll use the utility space down in the ranch for some transformers. So this one will come out and power this aqua tuner. This one will come out and power this aqua tuner. Then this one come out and power that aqua tuner. I'm also going to need a little bit of equipment in here to send the igneous over to the ranch. So that we'll just spend a little bit of time in the mercury before going over this way. How long has this been here? Okay, let's take another duplicate. I could just go in alphabetical order. I need an Abe 2. I think you'll also help out with ranching. So welcome to the base, Abe. Oh, right, gotta make sure I distinguish you from the other Abe. So I'll get you over to here, put a suit on. I'll assign you to ranching. We could do Unit 1 on the overnight schedule. So then he pops up here, Abe 2, housing Unit 1. Abe 2 pops up on the overnight schedule there. I'm going to start moving some of this mercury over. Got a big bottle here. I'm going to relocate that and then empty it. I think that's faster than using the bottle drainers or the bottle emptiers to move it. And if you're not playing with the Frosty Planet pack, then water would work fine here. You could also use supercoolant. Any material that would be a liquid between 10 and 40 degrees would be fine here. Now I can just empty these, and I'll end up with a big pool of mercury here. Whoa. I do need to get this area vacuumed out, so I'll get in a little bit of a liquid lock here. Some gas pumps. That sounds like another duplicate to me. Who is next on the list? We need an Ada 2. I think you can help out with building and operating. I think I have enough ranchers at this point. Vacuum acquired. Now I can get in some water. So I'll seal that back up. Don't need that liquid lock anymore. I'll get in some bottle drainers here so we can get some supercoolant into these loops. We'll say if the steam turbines up here are ever above 0 degrees, go ahead and turn on. Then if the mercury down here is ever above 10 degrees, go ahead and turn on. Now, I think I might be ready, even though this isn't quite finished yet, to start sending some of this igneous in. I'll make these out of terbium because they're going to be in a vacuum. I want to get all of this igneous cleaned up before I start sending in some new magma to the system. So you, raw mineral, igneous. So all this rock here is well above 150 degrees. Got another duplicate print. Oh, that's new. I think the pearl is part of the aquatic planet pack. Next on the list is Amari. Let's see, Ada was a builder, so I think you will be an operator. So, welcome to the base, Amari 2. So, I'm gonna let this run, get up to temperature in all the correct places. I'll move my attention over to the ranch now. Start designing all the layers here. Have a grooming station. A drop-off. A feeder. And then the condo. And this can be rotated. Keep it symmetrical. I'll put in a door here to limit the hatch's mobility. And then a center door here to segregate the two ranches. Then I'll need some incubators. With some loaders and sweepers to handle all of the egg manipulation. That should leave me with enough space for some transit tubes. That way duplicants can get to their tasks more quickly. I want to get these hatch eggs in here. Populate this first ranch. I'm gonna feed these guys. Sedimentary rock to get them converted over to stone hatches. Then for shipping within the ranch, I'm gonna get a loader here in the corners. This will export all of the eggs and meat from the expired hatches. Then I'll use some receptacles for the incoming igneous so that duplicants don't have to restock the critter feeders. And to power all of that, I've got some extra transformers over here. This one is going to come over to power this side, because all of these transformers are preoccupied. Then to control the incubators, I'm going to use some critter sensors here in the corners. These will enable and disable the incubators based on the critter counts, so that they can intercept the eggs before they're shipped out on these loaders. And I'm going to set these loaders to a lower priority so that the sweepers are more inclined to put the eggs into the incubators. Now, I don't want these to count eggs, I only want them to count the critters. And if the count is ever below the maximum the ranch can support, which is 9 with the condo, I want to send a green signal back to the incubators so that they'll intercept any of the outgoing eggs. Then once all of the ranches are full, the incubators will be disabled, so the auto sweepers can just send the eggs straight to the loaders. And those send the eggs out this way. Back to the drowning chamber. All the way right there. So while I'm waiting for this to populate, I can turn my attention to the magma. I need to make like a liquid lock and a vacuum seal here so that I don't boil all this crude oil. I think this is actually in the way here. Let's get rid of that. Then it would take me forever to make a vacuum if I were to just use a pump, because pressure is over 2,000 kilos here. So I'm going to lock this up, make a little liquid lock here on the end, and then deconstruct the inside. Then I can make a little hole through the abyssalite and start pitcher pumping out some magma. I am going to need a pipe exclusively for that. So right here, nope, that is the molten metal pipe. Right here, that will be the magma pipe. Ideally, I would make this out of insulate, but I don't have enough yet, so ceramic will have to do. And I am actually out of ceramic now. Oh my. Well, I guess I need to turn the ceramic factory back on. That sounds like a new duplicate. Next in line is Ari. I think you'll help out with building. Alright, so I've got a big block here to systematically remove some tiles to create a liquid lock. Now that that's in place, I can actually just remove this whole thing here. Alright, and that gives me a lot of space to work with. I'm gonna make all of the ladders here out of obsidian so that it doesn't melt in case it touches the magma. But I'm gonna come down right here along the neutronium. And I'll actually get in some mesh tiling here at that ladder level so that I can put some bottle drainers. I don't know if that looks right, having a duplicate swimming in lava like that. Well, I can get in the pitcher pumps now, and I'll also make these out of obsidian. I'm missing one tile there. That's not good. Okay, I need to make a little bit of space for the magma to flow into, so that it drops down one more tile. But since duplicates can swim, they can actually get over here. Yep, stop singing, hurry up and dig. You're taking damage. Alright, stop. Run away. So, I could safely get a pitcher pump here, because the base is in a vacuum, it's not touching the magma. It doesn't really matter where the spout goes, it's just where those two tiles are. It won't overheat if it's in a vacuum. Yo, you're gonna die. Run away. So I'm gonna set all of these to magma and enable auto bottle. Duplicate should come over, pump some magma, and drop it off in one of these drainers. Still waiting on a little bit of ceramic, though. I guess, for now, I'll just use igneous. Just so that I can get it to work. And then I can come back through later and swap it all over to ceramic. I'm gonna plow some piping through this biome, though. I think it might be time I just eliminated it. Now I can send this magma up to... Well, okay, let's think about this. This magma is at 1722. This heating plate is at 1820. That means this magma is actually cooling off this plate now. I don't want that happening anymore. So it's just gonna go straight into there. Then the fresh magma from the Magma Biome can come over this way, up to right there. That sounds like another duplicate to me. And up next, we've got Ashkin. So welcome to base, Ashkin 2. So I've got all the pitcher pumps in place now, just need to wait for the duplicates to clear out all this magma, and then I can move them down to the next layer, and just slowly keep eating away at all this magma here. But that is ending up here at the top of the map. It's just gonna fall into this pool here, and then eventually fall down to here, where it will solidify and be picked up and processed just as if it was regolith. Still waiting on the hatches to multiply. Haven't gotten a stone hatch yet. It's only a 31% chance for a stone hatch to be laid. 68% for a regular hatch. But as they eat more and more sedimentary rock, those chances will go up. So I'll come back once this ranch has been fully populated, and I'll see how far through the magma I can get down over here. Okay, so it has been a while. I think almost 100 cycles, actually. I'm probably not going to get this video out in time, but nonetheless, this has been fully populated. I've gotten quite a significant dent of magma processed here. And I've reconfigured how all of the hot stuff is flowing now. I realized that this is now obsolete. The magma from the Magma Biome and the magma from the volcanoes meets here now and just gets dropped off into the regolith melter to be processed as if it was regolith. The molten metals from the volcanoes still go through the heatsink, but instead of going into the reprocessor here that I originally built, those are now being sent into the new cooler. So they just come out here as solid pieces of copper and iron. So all of this can actually just go away. Alright, and now that that is gone, there is one final thing I want to do before I go over the final overlays for this. There's an achievement here, down the hatch. Produce 10 tons of refined metal by ranching smooth hatches. And just through random chance, I've gotten a couple of smooth hatches here. So I'm going to make a temporary little ranch. Just try and knock out that achievement while I'm on the subject of hatches. And I'm not going to worry about any automation or anything in here. This is just temporary to give me the achievement. Then I don't want any smooth hatches. So I'll just feed these guys some iron ore. I got plenty of iron ore. Oh, I should also point out that in order to decrease duplicant travel through this area and force all the work to be done by the autosweepers, we've added one more mod to the collection. And that's to allow or disallow manual use on these critter feeders. And the mod actually does a lot more buildings than just the critter feeders. But I went through all the trouble to put in this giant piece of infrastructure here. I want that to be working, not my duplicants. So here's all the final overlays for the secondary cooler. We'll start with plumbing. So the outputs of the steam turbines go out to the sides, come down, and then go across some liquid valves to limit the flow to just 1 kilo. That way the pipes don't break. And just alternates through the counterflow, radiant, insulated, radiant, insulated, radiant, insulated. There is one aquatuner responsible for cooling off the steam turbines, and then 2 aquatuners responsible for cooling off the mercury down here that all of the igneous rock sits in. And then I was able to sneak this final pipe here for the molten metals from the different volcanoes just through the counterflow in the same direction that the igneous rock travels. And then it just sits down here in the same pool. So here is the shipping overlay. Just comes in from the space biome and zigzags through the counterflow, gets dropped off with these 2 chutes here, and then picked up and put into these loaders, where it just first goes through the mercury for some final cooling, and then they wrap around and go into the hatch ranch. Here is the power overlay, so all the steam turbines are just connected back up to the main grid, and then these aquatuners are all powered by the wires connected back to these transformers that are, in a way, temperature controlled by these aquatuners here, because the incoming igneous rock will actually cool these off. As far as automation is concerned, it's just on the aquatuners, just to tell them when to turn on and off. I have this one controlling the temperature of the steam turbines set to 0, and then the aquatuner is controlling the temperature of the mercury set to 10. I don't want to go any lower than 10, because the comfortable range on the hatches is somewhere between 10 and 40. So as long as it's within that range, it's fine. So that is just the final cooler. The majority of the cooling is still done by all of these steam turbines back up here that are a part of the regolith melter system. I'm just repurposing this to process the magma from the magma biome. So now that all of that is done, I really just need to wait for all of this magma to get picked up. I'll probably put in a section over here to attack it from both sides, pump up some magma over here. But now that I've gone over the concepts, I can just do that between episodes, get everything done, so that beginning of next episode, this space down here is ready to go for holding some water. Because again, I want this to be my water tank down here, not a magma tank. I've also thought about how I would double this ranch. Now, it would definitely fit over on this side, no problem. The annoying part is that the secondary cooler is a little too big to fit in between that geyser and that geyser, but it actually will fit right in there. So it's not going to be completely symmetrical. It's going to be as close as I can get with these geysers being in the way. So there's not too much else I can really do with this map. So this series will probably be coming to a close in the next 1 or 2 episodes. I definitely want to be going to the Temporal Tear, and then maybe ranch some gassy moos, just to get this achievement. The Critter Whisperer. I have to ranch some gassy moos. And then that also is moving on up. I also need to take on the rest of the duplicants that I'm missing, just to round everything out to an even 100 duplicants. So just a few more things I want to get done, but yeah, this series is going to be coming to a close pretty soon. But I think that's everything I wanted to cover regarding hatches and the magma processing. So I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.